recognizable theme music for Superconnectivity. Hey, heroes! I'm your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser, and with me, as always, is my best, amazing, entrepreneurial friend.
Phil Perich.
That's him, yes. I don't have my skinny rich friend today. He did not get to see Solo. And this is a spoiler podcast. And, you know, I don't blame him for not wanting to be spoiled because that was a good movie.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I don't know why this movie's been getting like bad hype. It was a good story and everything. Maybe coming off The Last Jedi and like it's only 5 months since The Last Jedi and people are getting Star Wars fatigue.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is literally Star Wars fatigue. That is literally the only explanation, is that it is Star Wars fatigue. And, you know, I don't necessarily blame people about Star Wars fatigue. You know, Star Wars, you know, when it comes to Marvel movies, the reason why you don't get superhero fatigue from Marvel movies is because each movie is different, because each character is different, and each story is different. And I think you have a weird... And the thing is that the fan culture of Marvel is based on an expanded universe. The fan culture, to give you an idea here, the fan culture of Star Wars is 3 films. Everything is about 3 films. So it's not like there's comic books, and movies, and TV shows like Star Trek or Marvel Comics. You know, so there's 3 films, and when you stray too far from it, you know, say, oh, you're ruining it. And when you get too close to it, it's like, oh, you're just aping what came before. It's like it's like that. It's like Han Solo trying to get through that space. You know, it's a very, very narrow area to navigate. And as we saw at the beginning of the film, Han could not.
So, but yeah, you know, like you're saying, it's like one world, one genre, run universe off these 3 movies. Marvel has like a big backbench of like many characters. Plus, you can switch genres. Guardians of the Galaxy's in space, and everything else is on Earth. Especially like Captain America. Like Captain America 2 was a spy thriller, and
exactly. And you know, you have the heist. You have the heist movie with Ant-Man, and we're going to do a heist again in a couple weeks. And that's going to be a heist with mystical, cosmic qualities, no doubt. You know, because we're going to go there because we know that's another thing we'll talk about is the new trailer. Have you seen the new trailer? With the Impossible Voyage ship.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got the Impossible Voyage ship. We got the actual statement that the character that was rumored is in it. And based on what they're saying for him, I think we're going to see him again. But we'll get to that after we talk about. Let's talk about Solo. I don't want us to get our disjointedness here, but I want to go back to that Ant-Man trailer because that was a powerful trailer, and it makes me realize that this is not going to be just a filler film between Infinity War, you know, between Electric Boogaloo and Electric Boogaloo. It's going to be. It's. Because it has to rhyme, Ben. Okay.
Thought you're teaching him to be a showman. Oh wait, that's Tristan. Never mind.
No, Tristan's a showman. Ben's. Well, if we ever get there, yes. So there's only one film, which was Breaking to Electric Boogaloo, and it is such an iconic film that no one has ever seen. That I do reference it repeatedly when I talk about sequel films that we don't know the title for yet. Okay, getting back to our show. I have no idea if you guys can actually hear the questions Benjamin and Tristan say, but I throw them in there.
But again, to like we were saying before, I don't know why they put this movie out when they did, because again, Last Jedi was 5 months ago, and now they're saying the next Star Wars movie isn't until like December of next year, so you got like a 1.5 years wait. So you rushed it in the beginning. Now you have a 1.5 years wait. Why didn't they just put this out at the end of the year like they did? They've been doing everything since Force Awakens.
Well, probably because someone, you know, and we talked about it on the show, is someone at Disney said, you know what, we could go Black Panther, Avengers, Deadpool, which we're still getting a cut of, Solo and really just have this whole domination for most of this year.
But again, with fatigue, it's like, maybe people don't have the money. You go to Infinity War, well, Black Panther, Infinity War, Deadpool, and then it's Solo, which and also came out on Memorial Day weekend where the weather was decent. So it's like, did you really think you were going to get all these people sitting in a theater on Memorial Day weekend?
To be fair, there's a lot of parts of this country that Memorial Day weekend is the day you go to the movies because it's hot. And as much as people complain about the cold, they complain just as much about the heat.
True.
And Eric, what actually established the motion picture industry is the invention of air conditioning.
But again, too, there's also parts of this country that are going to go outside, have cookouts, have picnics, whatever. So don't you want to kind of like schedule where you're going to get most of the country in?
Yeah, but again, it's only 2.5 hours, and it's a fun thing to do. It's a thing. It's going to movies. It's kind of like going to movies on your first date. You don't actually accomplish anything because you go in 2 hours later and you know nothing else about each other, but it certainly fills time. And most of humanity, it's about filling time. It's like it's a day, and I would rather not do chores because there's always chores to do. But it's like, okay, what can we do? And going to a movies is a very popular thing to do. And if you had that extra day, like we did, and I still got all my chores done, I was very proud of myself. Though I really goofed off on Saturday and Sunday, got everything done on Monday. It is what it is. You wander through it, and
the heck.
But what we can say is, it maybe have been poorly timed. You know what it is it strikes me that Solo is a cult film. And this is something I was noticing recently on the internet. So a lot of films, the people who saw them when they were kids thought they were hugely hugely popular, like Road to El Dorado. Did you ever see Road to El Dorado?
No.
Okay. Well, it's basically a road comedy. I've never seen it either, but it's a road comedy film with two guys. It wasn't a Disney film, but it was basically fanfic about two Disney princes who were kind of, a little too into each other, as they say.
I think I've heard of this movie, but I've never seen it.
It gets memed all the time because millennials, like Lilith Hellfire, are, this was like a pivotal moment for her, like the Atlantis film from Disney that, I knew it existed, but was not a touchstone for my life. And it didn't do well at the box office, but it was a touchstone for the people who saw it. And I think that Solo, much like most films that it's spawned from, is a film that will be a touchstone for the people who saw it. The problem is that there's an entire universe out there that you're pushing it into that only wants a blockbuster.
Yeah.
Because not for nothing, let's not forget, Star Wars took about a decade to really get big. If you really think about it, you think about Star Wars, you think about the time between New Hope and Strikes Back. That was a lot of time. I think Strike Back, and certainly if you look at Return of the Jedi, that was definitely at least a decade for 3 movies. Yeah. Compared to Marvel, which takes a decade to do 20.
Back then, I don't think they were they were pushing as hard, and I don't know, maybe like the production stuff. It took longer. They didn't have all the CG, and
it was the first film to have a connected extended universe. And that connected extended universe is one of the things I think is one of the real tributes to this film, because one of the biggest issues in it is that there is a item at the end, and you know what I'm talking about, where people are like, "What? How's he there?" And it's like, "Oh, dude, and you know what? That is an intentional troll to the nerd boys. It is an intentional troll because its purpose was to say, "Oh, I guess you don't know about the extended universe." You know, because it is literally something you have to know the extended universe to know why he's there. For those, okay, so spoilers ahead, spoilers ahead, spoilers ahead. Let's get into the spoiler area. So at the very end of this film, we see that our secret big bad in it is in fact Darth Maul.
Mm-hmm.
What you say? Wasn't he dead in the first one? It's like, yes, you not really a fanboy, because apparently, Disney has an expanded universe. You know, one of the things everyone always complained at Disney is, oh, they've said that the expanded universe isn't canon. It's like, well, of course it's not canon. They said that they had to have, you know, that. And actually, to be honest, what they said wasn't that the expanded universe wasn't canon. It's that the expanded universe can only be consistently canon. Meaning you can't have canon that is inconsistent. You have to have a universal canon for this universe, because we've got a Bible, we're building it, we're making, you know, we're selling T-shirts here, people. This is important business. And we need to know exactly what the heck a midichlorian is. And so, but within that, they have had a very expanded universe. They've had the Clone Wars, and they've had the Star Wars Rebels cartoons, which are digital cartoons, which are very well done. They're on Disney XD. And in that, we have seen that apparently, basically, through the power of hate compels him. But, you know, hey, it is one of the powers of the Dark Force. Darth Maul did not die. He basically got cut in half, and he said, nope, you don't get off that easy, man. I have got the power of the Force.
Well, I mean...
which actually makes you think he's as powerful as Anakin, really.
Well, he's an alien.
Because that's basically... That hate is what kept Anakin alive, if you think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that, and plus he's an alien. I mean, maybe his species can survive that.
That's an entire possibility. Like, maybe there's no vital organs below the waist.
Oh, poor guy.
Well, no. Hey, you don't know where his thing is. You know, not for nothing. It's like, yeah, below the waist. What are you talking about? That's like, you know, what do you think these horns are for, dude?
Ah!
You know, yeah, base slapping. We don't, I mean, not for, this has always been my biggest thing with aliens. It's like, you know, there is no reason for the genitalia to match up.
Yeah, that's
alien races.
That's like Star Trek. Everyone's stuff lined up with Kirk's. That's like, come on.
Well, actually, I mean, with Kirk, I don't think he cared if it lined up. In fact, I think never know that. That's probably like the upside to most of those alien hookups. It's like, well, at least we know nothing's going to happen. We're not going to have some half alien baby out of this deal, because it's half alien for the alien too. You know, because it's like, oh, that's some Earther stuff in there. I don't know. So yeah, yeah, but no, it shouldn't line up. But that is Darth Maul. Through the power of hate, he kept himself alive. He eventually gets himself some robot legs. He's got like little spider legs for a while, which I remember as a thing. He actually, it's like after I read that, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that trailer. Yes. He had like little robot spider legs, and then he got real legs, and now, because I guess he has a brother, you know. This is my brother Darth, and this is my other brother Darth. He helped him get, because he was like way nuts, because I guess if you use that much Dark Force energy, it's going to drive you mad. But he eventually got himself straight, and he took over apparently the Crimson Dawn. Da-da-da-da! Hey, way to go, comeback kid, Darth Maul.
I think Disney was probably like, man, we have this character that people like, and like they wasted him before us on episode 1 and killed him off in 2 seconds.
Oh, it's like Boba Fett all over again, and not for nothing, Darth Maul is the Boba Fett of the expanded universe.
Yeah, like that prequel stuff. Oh yeah.
Yes. Although he did actually die. So okay, again, spoilers, kids. He did actually die in Rebels. Obi-Wan Kenobi kills him. So, or maybe it was in Clone Wars. He dies in Clone Wars, the cartoon series. Obi-Wan Kenobi eventually does kill him, you know, getting his revenge for him killing his master, and of course, taking Obi-Wan down the path of the dark side. You can't have it both ways, Jedi. You can't have it both ways. It's like either we're on the path of darkness and we kill children and Sith, or we are on the path of righteousness and we find another way. We seize the higher ground. Obi-Wan, he was just honestly that is your real alternate universe. Is Obi-Wan is the Dark Sith Lord secretly, doesn't even know it. He was the emperor the whole time.
But I mean, Darth Maul was shocking. I was like, wait, what's going on? But the rest of this movie was like good too. The story,
yeah, L3, that is like such an arc of a character. Like everyone had like a really good arc in this, except I would have to say, honestly, I think Lando got the most short change of anyone. I think Lando had a good story, but it's like, you know, he was so much a character in it.
Yeah,
he was so much a fluffy bon vivant.
I think I have to say more than anyone else. Like, I think, well, I mean, Chewbacca, they just throw somebody in the suit, but like Lando, I could hear him when he was talking at times. He's like channeling Billy D. I'm like, man, that sounds like Billy D.
Well, you know, Childish Gambino is actually quite a talented actor, as it turns out. You know, and you know, here's my thing with Childish Gambino. You got to pick a name. You need one name. It's like, you want to be Childish Gambino, that's fine. You want to be Donald Glover, that's fine. Don't do this. Don't hop between names. That's not the way it's done.
Well, I thought
it ruins librarians' jobs, because it's like, where do I file this?
I thought a little bit ago, I thought they were saying he was retiring the Childish Gambino name, unless I was wrong. But I'm thinking now that he's famous enough as Donald Glover, that Childish Gambino is like falling by the wayside.
Well, yeah, because, you know, it's like when who's that country guy who came back? He decided to create a grunge rock persona. He's the guy who did the Thunder Rolls. Chubby guy with a cowboy hat. I forget his name.
Oh, you asked me, but okay. But I think Donald Glover is
country fans, you know. Oh yeah, that's Garth Brooks. Thank you. Garth Brooks. I don't know if you remember this, but in like the late '90s, early aughts, Garth Brooks sort of came to this idea. He says, I want to create a rock character who's like a grunge rocker, and like, except I don't know. He had a very strange idea of what grunge rock was. It was like half goth, half grunge, mostly still country, and you know, put on some eyeshadow and did his character, and he did good music in that as well. But it was like, dude, you can't just pretend to be someone else. Yeah. You have to pretend to be one person. You can pretend to be someone else, but just you have to stick with that someone else you've decided to pretend to be. So yes. But no, I mean, I think that in many ways Lando was kind of the Volstagg of the storyline. I love Volstagg, as you know, but it seemed like there was a lot of ho, my friends, let me tell you about the adventures I've had kind of thing. And then when the actual adventure comes, maybe there's not so much adventuring that Lando's going to do.
I mean, unless they're trying to whet people's appetites like you were talking about, like, oh, we need a Lando movie.
Well, like I said, I doubt you can do Lando in a movie. Like Lando, there's such a story there that, you know, because like we say, he winds up as unless he won Cloud City in a bet. And can we say this about the Han movie? Okay, first off, Lando cheats. Okay. Oh, yeah. Which isn't surprising, but it does make us realize that, you know what, throughout it all, you know, this guy is getting by through malicious means. And then you know, and this does lead to Han's eventual winning of it, because he basically takes away his very old school card hander, you know,
the ace up his sleeve.
Yeah, literal.
Yes.
And that's all cool, but like I said, it kind of plays into this idea. It kind of reminded me of you know, Legends of Tomorrow, and they do this whole thing to sort of build up what was it? Is it Maya as this pirate?
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of make this point that, oh, she's actually not this private, but they're just telling this story. They're just telling the story and telling the story. And you kind of feel that Lando is kind of this guy who is told this story about what a great smuggler he is, but now he's retired. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh yeah, I was this great smuggler. I don't do that anymore. So you can't actually ask him to do that one last job. And when he gets it, like we said, he deserts them. He says, nope, sorry guys. I am not crossing these lines. I am not getting a follow of the Crimson Dawn. I am not getting a follow of the Empire. And yeah, it's interesting the whole thing. And we do have Han joining the infantry. So
yeah,
that was great.
Yeah, to get off that planet. Yeah.
And hey, there's your expanded universe there for you kids, because it's like they followed exactly what they said in the expanded universe. He had enrolled in the Naval Academy of the Empire. He got kicked out because, as he says, he has his own mind and he doesn't follow orders. Winds up in the infantry. That is actually all. This was basically. This should have been, and I love you to all the Star Wars nerds. And then introduce them to the idea that there is an expanded canon that Disney is allowing, that there is this expanded canon, that this expanded canon in this universe. And what really the whole Darth Maul thing at the end says is that Mara Jade could be a character, but she's in an alternate universe. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. It's like there are alternate universes. There are, we're only exploring this timeline. And we want to have a consistent universe for this timeline. Because, not for nothing, everything that goes on in the expanded universe, it's all different timelines. It's like the different G.I. Joe books. They may all have a Destro, but who that Destro is may be very different in every book. And, Cobra Commander, sometimes he's a used car salesman. Sometimes he's from a mystical Tibetan city. You never know. Mystical Tibetan cities, They are loaded with those.
Yeah. But no, speaking of Han and the infantry, I liked how Han and Chewie met, and I liked Chewie as a character, but didn't it seem like they became friends a little too fast?
I
know it's a movie. I know you have to move stuff along, and it's they did save each other from that pit, but it's I don't know, it seemed a little too quick for me.
Okay, so here's what I'll tell you. Han speaks Wookiee. Yes. A little, as he says. He picked up a little Wookiee. And not for nothing, that is probably the first person to speak Wookiee to Chewbacca since his people were enslaved.
Maybe, yeah.
And you have to remember that when you go into this slave, and there's a lot about the slave dynamic of the Empire here. And the fact that Darth Vader did not fulfill his promise to end slavery, although maybe he did end it on Tatooine. I mean, there's a very complex question about whether or not slavery existed on Tatooine when Jabba. Because I still said there was nothing sexual about Jabba's taking of Leia. I think that is purely, again, because how are those parts matching up in any way? How is that in any way erotic for Jabba? It's like, oh, yeah, you're a very bony thing. Yes. I think it's mostly about humiliation of Leia than anything for Jabba. Jabba's like, yeah, whatever. Okay. Oh, yes, you and your bony and meaty parts there. Yeah, I want me some of that, I guess. No, Jabba would have no interest in that because it is gross to him. Leia is as gross to Jabba as Jabba is gross to Leia because they are very different species. There's not going to be any crossover, unless you're some kind of space furry. This is not something you do. Truth be told, even Captain Kirk isn't getting with the Horta. Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, there is this suggestion here that Darth was not able to fulfill his promise to end slavery, to free all the slaves.
Yeah, but
unless he only freed them on Tatooine.
I mean, he had these big ideals, but then doesn't it seem like the Emperor's just like, no, you do what I say,
Yeah, but it kind of hurts me in a way because when you really get to that idea that the Wookiees are slaves, that the slavery has continued throughout the Empire. Now, you could also argue that this is still early in the Empire, and that slavery hasn't been abolished yet. That Darth has to work his way through to get to that world without slavery. And and of course the droids are still slaves.
Yes.
But the droids are also manufactured, and anyone who's ever read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy that the way that you maintain slaves in a robot world is you actually program them that is their pleasure center.
Yeah, but
this job you've programmed them makes them happy.
Yeah, but a lot of the droids, are they like stealing them and using them? Because I mean, if you're manufacturing them from scratch, wouldn't you just program them, that this is your way of life? Instead, they have those bolts on them.
Apparently, yes, the obedience bolts. Because of course, what happens is they created a really good AI, and that AI gained sentience. And rather than that AI taking over the universe, because really it could, because really droids are central to everybody, even the rebellion. Those X-wings don't fly without a navigation droid. You don't have an R2 unit, you are screwed. You are screwed basically flying that X-wing. It will not take you where you need to go. You need your R2 unit. But what is interesting is that basically, and what is interesting about L3 as a character is that she has apparently, and I may have missed this because I only watched the movie once, but she apparently rebuilt herself. That she has been building herself from other droids this whole time. And so she is no longer the droid that was originally manufactured. She is her own droid now. Which is a neat and interesting and different thing.
Yeah, I wonder. But I wonder if that's I wonder if that was like an influence from like Lando, because she was with Lando.
Yeah. Well, it might have been that was letting it go as that, Lando certainly. Lando truly loved L3. And when you get to this idea that L3 is now a part of the Millennium Falcon, which goes into that interesting line from the first one or the first series. I don't know if it was in the first one or Empire, when C-3PO is interfacing with the ship's navigation system. It says it has a weird accent. They sort of explained what that weird accent was, and that accent is L3. And that is neat. But you realize how much Lando loved L3. And you realize that they, and you hear L3 talking in the movie about I don't know how to handle my relationship with Lando, because on one level, yes, he's very attractive. On the other level, he's my, we work together. It would be really awkward and, all that kind of stuff. And he technically owns me.
I know parts don't match up. Yes.
Yeah. Well, exactly. That's the thing. Well, but again, isn't that true of most of these alien relationships, And isn't that maybe a feature, not a bug? I'm sure he can push the buttons that require it, and I'm sure she can push his if so necessary.
Good Lord. But you know who else we didn't talk about? What was the character's name? Beckett. Woody Harrelson.
Oh, Woody Harrelson was fun in this. Yeah, he dies. That was everyone dies in this. Now, the one thing that I was not quite sure of, and I forget her name, but the leader of the the rebel group in that,
they thought they were
Raiders.
The Raiders. Yeah.
Was that supposed to be Woody Harrelson's daughter?
I didn't get that.
Yeah, they weren't explicit, but it kind of you get this idea when she takes off the mask. Everyone's like, "Oh, dude, you were." She's clearly, half black, half white, and you were with that black lady at the beginning of this movie. Yeah, and but they all talked about it in a way that,
But she said she had taken her mother's place as leader, so that would have meant.
Well, it could have meant that her mother went off with Woody Harrelson.
Maybe.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there's lots of things that could have been going on there. You know, I felt it was strongly implied that they were supposed to have that family, because hey, it is Star Wars. It's all about, you know, family dynamics.
It could be. I just took it as like I don't know, like people were stealing the natural resources of the indigenous brown people. So
yeah, well, that's an aspect of it too. But clearly, she had some alien DNA in that. She was clearly meant to be different than the other people of that planet. You know. And hey, we got Willow in this, and C-3PO is a Wookiee. So.
Oh yeah. Warwick Davis was back. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I was so happy to have Warwick, and they even gave him some lines, so that was good. Warwick Davis, and apparently there are some like weird little tie-ins between this and like other like first like again of this expanded universe, that of the new Lucasverse, that there's now a canon Lucasverse, so that's good.
But you were talking about Woody Harrelson's death. You know what that was, right? Han shot first.
Oh yes, Han did shoot first. Han always shoots first.
That's when he learned how to shoot. He shoots first.
Yeah, because if someone's talking, you shoot, because they're going to shoot you if you don't shoot them. It's recognizing how bad the situation is and knowing who the bad guy is. And hey, can we talk about like how much love we give to Jabba in this film, where Jabba's not even in it?
I know. I'm like, so we're getting a sequel to this, right? Because
yeah, but also, you know, for what it's worth, there was clearly a relationship between Han and Jabba.
Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, they think they painted it a little before, but I think especially in this movie, like they're painting Jabba to be like the Wilson Fisk of the Star Wars universe. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely is, and I remember, you know, there's this great line in Empire Strikes Back where Boba Fett tells Darth Vader, "Look, he's no use to me dead." You know, which means that, you know, Jabba wants him alive. He doesn't want to kill Han.
No,
he loves him those big blues. You know, it's like, yeah.
Well, he probably wants him to work for him. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he always wants him to work for him. It's like, dude, you owe me money. I want you to pay back the money. I don't want to kill you. I want you to pay me back my money. I'm not a guy, you know. It's like, yeah, Leia, I'm gonna, you know, and again, Leia doesn't kill Leia. He wants to humiliate her. He wants to humiliate Han. He's going to be hanging on his wall. Leia's going to be sitting there by his throne with a chain around her neck. Because, you know what? You shouldn't have crossed me. I got nothing against you personally, but don't freaking cross me. You know, I am a good gangster. In a world of horrible people, I am actually probably the nicest guy on all of Tatooine. Is Jabba's statement. I tell you, the Hutts are like a horribly misrepresented people. You know, they're just trying to get by in a world with empires and, you know, republics and, you know, mismanaged republics and mismanaged empires, and only the Hutts are getting stuff done. That's basically the story of this whole thing.
Oh, but speaking of powerful evil men, I'm surprised we didn't mention this. And we've said the last couple of weeks, it's the summer of Brolin. I don't know. Paul Bettany's giving him a run for his money.
Yeah. Yes. Paul Bettany, our Vision, there is the bad guy. Which is weird because, like, oh wait, it's the Vision. Oh, why is he being so mean?
You know, British and mean.
Yes, I'm used to you being British and nice. Let's pick a British type that you're going to be, Mr. Bentley. No,
he doesn't want to be typecast, you know.
Well, great, and he did not get typecast, and he did this well. He was fantastic as the villain. He was again this great wannabe Fisk, where he doesn't want to have to kill you. It's like one of these guys like, why do you make me kill you all the time? I'm just trying to do a job here.
Just be useful. Just be useful, and I'll be your friend. Exactly.
Just be useful. It's like, you know, it's like I really feel he doesn't take pleasure in it. You know, he'll do it, and he's good at it. You know, and he maybe takes pleasure in, wow, I'm really good with these knives, kind of things. But you know,
no, he doesn't take pleasure in it. He gets mad. You can see it on his face.
Yeah, he's got the whole scary things. I don't know. That's again some weird alien thing, you know. Because even if you look human, you ain't human. Nobody in this is human. This is in a different freaking galaxy. To be honest with you, we have no idea how the parts sync up with any of these people.
Yeah.
We don't even know if Han and Leia have matching parts. Let's be honest.
Well, they did have a kid, so something
they did have
had
a kid, but I'm just saying
up.
they might have the parts might be in completely different areas. I'm just saying.
I mean, when characters look similar species, I mean, I would think something is close to lining up.
Well, you can hope so, but again, there's no guarantee of that. And not only that, it's like humans and apes. Human genitalia and ape genitalia are very, very different. And they line up like they are strategically, but humans have a very unique style of genitalia, and apes have a very different style of genitalia. And, like their use and purposes are completely different. So that's all I'm saying, Philip. Okay, let's talk Ant-Man. Oh, is there anything else you want to say about Solo? Our Red Solo Cup?
I don't think so. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it a lot. I would have gone and seen it again, but apparently this new Movie Pass thing says, oh no. You can only see it once that first week, apparently. Because I have to see if I can see it now, because now it's been a week since I saw it, Yeah, it's very annoying. That is like really the most annoying aspect of it. It's like, wait, no, because I wanted to go see these movies a lot. But like, oh, well, actually, we didn't want, we say you see a movie every day, but what we really meant is, why don't you just see a couple movies? And they actually have a new version of it, which is $7.99, which is 3 movies a month. Which is probably what they're based on. They're based on this idea that, people are probably going to want to see 3 movies a month. And you probably are going to want to see 3 movies a month. And it's still a great deal to see 3 movies a month. But, anyway. So speaking of seeing movies, let's talk Ant-Man and Wasp. So there's a new trailer out. And biggest reveal in this is we get a call out not only to Project Goliath, but that we get that Bill Foster was in fact Black Goliath.
Oh yeah. What was your record?
Yeah. But you know what that whole scene tells me? Is because then Paul Rudd makes the point of, well, I got up to 65 feet.
I was bigger.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that before the end of that film, Bill Foster is going to go 66. Because the whole point of that scene is to say, I was 66. I beat you. Like I was 65 and 1 inch. I was just a little bit bigger than you. Because how big is Goliath is a thing in this universe, apparently. So, yeah, but that is the point of that whole thing, and I love that aspect of it. It was a lot of fun. I'm excited for the Black Goliath and New Goliath because Hawkeye's going to be in this. Again, Hawkeye is going to be Goliath. You mark my words.
We'll see.
By the end of this, Hawkeye gets the Goliath serum. Even if it's in an after credit scene. Although we all know what the after credit scene I want is, Phil.
What?
Stern, Sampson, and Ross.
Oh yes.
Talking about since we don't have a Hulk anymore,
we need a Red Hulk.
Yeah, we need a new Hulk. We need a Hulk that's not a pansy, that's not a milksop. That will face the dangers because he knows we need a Hulk that's our Hulk. And of course, you're going to have Stearns come back for that because Stearns has to be a part of it. And you're going to have Sampson come back because Sampson's going to be saying, I've done a lot of study of the Hulk over the years. I've really gone back over, Banner's files. And this is, I can see how the Hulk relates to his psychology. Because, of course, that's the whole point is the Hulk is all psychology. So that is the after credit scene I want. The after credit scene I might get is, after, if they do any tie into Infinity War, Hawkeye saying we need to do something better on this, and I need something that'll give me the edge more than arrows, and I think it's going to be the Goliath serum. The Goliath particles. But we do see in this also that Hank Pym has an Impossible Voyage ship, which makes me wonder if that's a flashback. Because it strikes me, it's kind of odd that he would have, Although he does say that, Paul was the first person to go to the quantum realm and come back. So maybe it is something he's built since. Like I said, I think the quantum realm thing is going to be very important. I think it's going to be very important to Electric Boogaloo.
Well, I mean, they cast Michelle Pfeiffer as Janet Van Dyne, so I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
you know what's interesting about that? You know what's interesting about Michelle Pfeiffer as Janet Van Dyne? It means that Janet Van Dyne not only lived, but
she lived what?
That she aged.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And the idea is that because the original idea is in the quantum realm, it's a space that is outside of space and time, so you wouldn't age in it. But that she has aged suggests that she went through the quantum realm to another universe.
Yes.
And again, I think this is what's going to be important: the fact that Hank Pym and Paul Rudd were off universe when Thanos did his thing. And I honestly think you're going to be at the end of this story, them coming back to find out half the universe has been destroyed.
Oh yeah,
that is my prediction. And so, again, like I said, then that leads right into your after credits scene of we need a new Hulk.
I'm thinking you're right about them being on, like off world, because I mean there have been plenty of stories in the comics, right? About there's like other worlds in the microverse. I mean the one where Psycho Man comes from, and like the Jarella, the one the Hulk went to. Yeah.
There's so much in the microverse, and honestly, would love to see Jarella. Would love to see the Psycho Man. Psycho Man might still be over at Fox, so we don't get him yet. But we're salivating. We're salivating over the microverse. But and as I say, if it goes to NBC Universal, they had the first deal with Marvel, so it's not like we can't still work out a deal. Basically, it's the best of all worlds right now, because yes, even if NBC Universal buys it, honestly, our biggest worry is that if NBC Universal gets mad about Disney buying it, Hulk.
Yeah.
Although arguably, well, that's okay because Hulk wasn't in this movie, and we already made the second. And you know what? We're going Red Hulk next.
Oh, that's right. The Hulk really wasn't in Infinity War much. Yeah,
we've already written him out of the story, so which gives us our Red Hulk, and now we've got a Hulk. Because once you can unlock the secret, the secret strength that all humans have, you can control the raging beast that dwells within you. I am very excited about Ant-Man and Wasp. I'm more excited about Ant-Man and Wasp than I've been in a while. And I actually think this is because I do think this is going to deliver on expanding our universe. And that makes me happy.
Yeah, one more month.
One more month and a few more days. And what else do we get, Phil?
More than a couple days. Are you talking about Teen Titans go to the movies?
No, Thursday. This Thursday,
this
8 p.m.
I thought you said a month and a couple days. Okay, no. Wow. This week, Cloak and Dagger.
Yes, Cloak and Dagger, which is getting good reviews. Mm-hmm. Good to middling reviews, which is a really positive thing. This could redeem Marvel from the Inhumans debacle.
Well, I think like I was talking to Lilith the other day, I think a lot of these Marvel characters do better than some of the DC stuff because a lot of these characters like Cloak and Dagger, the general public aren't too familiar with them if you haven't read comics. So there's no preconceived notion in people's heads what Cloak and Dagger should be. So they're like, "Oh yeah, this is good." But everybody and their grandma has a preconceived notion of who Superman is, who Batman is.
Yeah, well, not only that, and what I will say about it is that Marvel does not fear changing their story.
Yeah.
This is what they learned in the 70s, is that you can change the story, just make the story better.
And there hasn't been like 50 different versions of Cloak and Dagger's story.
No. There hasn't been 50 different versions of any of these character stories, really. And they really, since like the one person who has a different origin is Red Brown's Captain America. He is literally, and really, his origin is almost just what's his name? Burnside origin, which is that he got the serum after the original Captain America in homage of him. That would be great if we could get Reb Brown as 50s Cap as William Burnside. That would be that would be so perfect. That would be absolutely perfect. You know, says name's William Burnside. I was Captain America after you went on ice.
Pulls out that plastic
and just have him play a little Crazy Eyes. It'll be fun.
Pulls out that plastic shield.
Yeah. Well, you know, hey, it worked. It was bulletproof. It came back to you. It had boomerang functions. It was a good dang shield. Okay. Don't be, it can only be vibranium. It's like, no, you know what? You can have a good shield that's plexiglass. Exactly. So, I mean, I would love that as just when they're trying to get all the heroes back together. Honestly, that would be awesome. As they're trying to, like, what kind of superpowered people do we still have? And you see Quake, and you see, you know, this person and that person. You see Reb Brown and all the 70s Marvel heroes there ready to fight. Yeah. Lou Ferrigno in the background.
And I'm playing Paper Mario.
Yes. Okay, Ben. And that would be awesome.
I don't think I'd see those characters like on the screen in like parts, but like someone's going through computer files. Yeah, I could see like Reb Brown's picture coming up, Lou Ferrigno's picture coming up.
You know, I mean, just like other superhumans. You know, actually, you know what you do, Lou Ferrigno from like the 1980s when he had the beard, and it's like, Hercules, Captain America. He was a fantastic Hercules. He was excellent as Hercules. You know, and this is a great time for Hercules to show up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because, again, half the universe is gone. So it's time to bring in some people from other universes. Time to bring in some people who we haven't seen before. And this is, I actually think we're gonna get that Marvel Netflix crossover in Electric Boogaloo. I do think so, because I think that when you get to that, there's no reason not to bring in other heroes. Especially since we know they exist, and so if we don't get a Quake reference, if we don't get a Daredevil reference, you know, it kind of defeats the purpose of all of this. And yeah, sorry, my battery's running low because apparently my computer is not plugged in. There we go. Now we're good.
Oh, this week in the what was it, Punisher issue 225, like all the heroes come after the Punisher because he's like blowing guys away with the War Machine armor.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel puts together like this whole group of like heroes to come after Frank Castle. It's like Spider-Man, Luke Cage, Ben Grimm's there. But you know who else is in the group? Quake.
Oh, Quake. Well, you know what? She is a character. And she, you know, deserves her space in the sun. I'm very excited for Quake. I'm very excited to see what they might do with Quake in the cinematic universe. Because, as I said, you know, when you have half the universe gone, you got to start rebuilding these Avengers. And like I say, I mean, the idea of General Ross, the idea of, because beggars can't be choosers. We got to go punch Thanos until he puts the universe back. Although, as I've said, you know, one of the things we saw in this universe is that when the Reality Stone gets removed, everything goes back to normal. So essentially, once they break the Infinity Gauntlet, everyone will come back because that's already been established as the physics of this universe. Now, anyone that died before then might be out of luck. But then again, death may not have as much power as people think because the only people that really died were Loki and Vision.
Gamora.
Yeah. Oh, and Gamora. But Gamora died in connection with the stone, so she could come back. She could come out of the Soul Stone. You know, she's in the Soul Stone. We know she's in the Soul Stone because Thanos went into the Soul Stone and met Gamora there.
Yeah, but if they do time travel, they can bring anybody back.
Yeah, but, you know, I don't think anyone wants to do time travel shenanigans. That's an X-Men ploy, you know?
Yeah, but you don't think there's going to be any kind of time travel in Avengers 4?
Well, they have really kept on saying, no, that's just the BARF system. Any flashbacks you see, that's just the BARF system. Okay. And other people said, well, then why is he hiding if it's the barf system? Because he's got like the hood on and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, there is an argument that there is time travel, but I don't want him to solve it through time travel.
Yeah.
I think time travel is the biggest cop-out because there's so much story that happens before then. You know, once you introduce this idea of let's use time travel to stop Thanos, then it's like, well, why don't we use time travel to stop Hitler too? You know? If we got this time, if we're going to put time travel on the table, the moral implications of it just immediately expand out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, I would not be surprised if we don't see Cloak and Dagger in Avengers 4 Electric Boogaloo, if we don't see Captain Marvel. Now, of course, they can always write out anyone as having been poofed. But then they need to actually have in that list of people they're going through, who do we still have? You know, have them go through, you know, Daredevil gone, Luke Cage gone, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean that's even from the comics. That first Infinity Gauntlet miniseries, like Thanos snapped his fingers pretty early. So like when everyone was gathering at Avengers Mansion, they had the big screen. It's like, okay, this person's missing. This person's missing. I think the whole Fantastic Four was missing.
Yeah, well, of course, because not for nothing, it wasn't random. He really picked the people that were most a threat to him. And like I said, the fact that Nebula lived is again that lack of randomness. Because as much as he loved Gamora, I think he loves Nebula too. And I think that's the real that. And like I said, if there's gonna be any psychology, oh man, wouldn't it be great if like Doc Samson's the guy who actually saves the day? Just have Phil Dunphy come in and sit down and says, you know, not like strong, but just like psychologist Doc Samson just sits down with them and says, you know, Samson, I don't think you're being honest with yourself about what you wanted to do. And I think you need to do the right thing.
But no, I think perhaps not that Thanos loved Gamora more than Nebula, but maybe he didn't consider Nebula a threat like he considered Gamora. So maybe Nebula takes him. Maybe Nebula is the one who kills him, and she's like, "Oh, you didn't consider me a threat. Well, how about now?"
Yeah, well, I mean that's a possibility, but no. He when he sacrifices Gamora, it has to be because he loves her.
Oh yeah.
Because the soul stone can see your soul. It's not going to fall for. There's a daughter I got. Let me kill that. You know?
But no. What I'm saying is he didn't snap Nebula out of existence because he didn't consider her a threat.
Yeah, or he didn't do it because he loved her. I like my story better.
Okay.
I liked it because he loved her because that's his baby girl. It was his other baby girl, and he loved his other one more. But he still loves Nebula too. You know, he's not a good father, but it doesn't mean he doesn't love. He's a horrible, abusive father with a psychopathic bent and a misunderstanding of what love is. But apparently, that was good enough for the Soul Stone. Soul Stone was like, yeah, you know, human morality. It's not my whole thing, but yeah, I mean, I can sense that you loved her in some way that things like you love things. No. Or to quote Gallivant, you know, I love you. I really love you as much as someone like me can love anyone. My favorite line. Oh, Gallivant. It's a good series. Really deserved a third season, but we'll take it at 2. Okay, Philip. Let's wrap this up. How can people find you if they would like to talk to you about Avengers 4 Electric Boogaloo or Ant-Man 2 Waspaloo? Boogaloo? Yes.
Yeah, hey, if anyone wants to talk to me or if you want to do interviews with us, email me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com. On Twitter, I am @nightwingpdp. And remember our voicemail for all the Capes and Lunatic stuff, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES.
And, of course, you can always write to me in that old-fashioned email way, the way your moms and pops once did, at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. And, of course, follow me on the Twitters as I live tweet things, including, hopefully, Cloak and Dagger, Thursday at 8 this week. At Charlie Esser, that's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's right there in the middle. For what? For quality. That's right, Ben. Okay, thank you for connecting with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please super connect with us again next week. Good night. There we go. Kept it under an hour.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yes.
But yeah. Do you think we're gonna get any Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. cameos eventually on Cloak and Dagger?
Oh, I know. I think the connection of the universe is coming up. I think that they have a reason to at this point.
Oh yeah, the TV stuff. Yeah.
I think that the feuding between the two is gone now that Feige's in charge of it all. I basically think Disney said, "Play nice, you kids."
Peace and love, everyone.
Peace.